Hi, everybody. Welcome to Better Than Never. Shit.
I'm not actually inside a women's prison at the moment.
The horniest just went up to like 11.
Good afternoon.
At least say a big you to Nick.
Tyler Yaremchuk must go to Cinco de Mayo.
Ty, why won't you kiss me? Tyler, kiss me. I want Tyler to kiss me again. Hello. Better late than never. Regularly scheduled programming. Hello, good day. Welcome. It's Wednesday. Lots going on, lots to talk about. And I'm excited. Why? Because it's kind of nice that it's 5 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon and I don't have a game to do tonight. I don't have, to worry about being stressed out about an Oilers playoff run. As much fun as I had, podcast confession. It is kind of nice that it's over. Does anybody else feel that way? Like, there was a lot of stress over the last 63 days or the 63 days of this playoff run. I just think that, man, we really, really went at it. Hard on the body. So it's nice to just kind of have an evening where I get to sit and chill or kind of tinker and putz. I'm writing an article as an example. Am I rushed to get it done before a game tonight at 7 or 8 o'clock? No, I'm not. I'll get it done for the morning. You'll have a fresh bag milk article to read at OilersNation.com tomorrow. But right now, kind of chill, kind of relaxing. Join the podcast time that you and I are going to get to spend together. Not to mention, anybody else gain a bunch of weight during the playoffs? Just me? Can't just be me, right?
Well, Satan gained a bunch of weight too, let me tell you. I love nothing more than fried foods. And if you have an excuse to eat fried foods every other night, drink a handful of beers, well, Satan's right there with you. Problem is, Satan's a little thicker than he once was. I added an extra couple of C's to my thickness, if you know what I mean.
I haven't been able to gain a pound since I was 6 years old. Quads is a full-grown man. Our Quads is as big as he gets.
I probably, podcast confession, put on 15 or 20. Woohoo! I regret nothing, by the way. I regret not one thing about it. Had the best time of my life. And I'll do it again next year, damn it. I will absolutely do it again. But it is nice to have an evening where I can go to bed early. I haven't had a drink since the playoffs. I was in Florida over a week ago was my last drink. Probably won't have one for quite some time, although I am going to my first Stingers game of the season on Sunday, and I'll probably have a beer there. But one beer is not 12 beers. Life is all about balance. And right now, my gut is balancing on my belt. Shit. You know what? I regret nothing. I'd do it again. I said that already, but I mean it. I mean it so much, I'll say it twice. Good? Good. Of course, like I said, I'm going to the Stingers game on Sunday. I went to my first one last year, and I ended up having a blast. So this summer, I kind of want to do more summer of bag milk stuff where I just check out a bunch of sports. I haven't gone to a Riverhawks game yet. I meant to go to the one on Canada today, but I just kind of forgot that it happened after all the craziness of free agency. I'm also feeling better. My voice isn't as hoarse as it was a week ago. Even I listened back to the emergency podcast from free agency day, and I still don't sound right. I know there was that fucking paper straw. Shot a chunk of paper in the back of my throat. I was pretty sure it was hanging on, swinging on my dangly ball in the back of my throat, but finally feel better. Do I sound better? I feel like I sound better in my headphones. Right? Of course. Of course. Shout out the audio department for being the title sponsor of the audiodepartment.ca. Book some studio time. Of course, the audio department works to create a safe space for creativity and collaboration for artists and musicians to realize their potential and share their message through sound and story. I am an artist. This would be my canvas. Please enjoy my art. The audio department wants it to be so, and thus it is. You know? Of course. A bunch to talk about with the Oilers since the emergency podcast and just stuff I forgot about. I was all scrambled and frazzled and excited, so let's get to the news. The news is brought to you by Star Mechanical, one of Edmonton's biggest locally owned and operated plumbing and heating businesses. They have worked within the community for over 20 years. Many of the homes built in Edmonton over the last 2 decades have had their plumbing and heating services installed by Star Mechanical. Visit starmechanical.ca to schedule an appointment and let them help you keep your home running smoothly. Since I recorded That last podcast, I just basically shut it down, and what happened? Jeff Jackson, big old dink, signs Adam Henrique. I was so happy, man. I was sure Rico was going to go, and it was just one of those ones where I was so excited to have him back that it's hard not to be excited about what Jeff Jackson's built here.
Let's go, baby.
We talked about it on the Emergency podcast. Victor Arvidsson, 2-year deal, $4 million per season. Great deal, especially if you think about like the wife swap situation that happened between he and Warren Foegele. Essentially a trading places NHL style. Warren Foegele a 3 by 3.5, or Arvidsson at 2 years up by 4. Listen, Arvidsson's the better player. Obviously, the big hangup is whether or not he can be healthy, whether or not he can stay healthy, right? That's the big thing. But then the Oilers go ahead and get Jeff Skinner. He chose to sign in Edmonton, by the way, over bigger offers from the Maple Leafs. And I quote, this is from the Chris Johnston show. He's going there to win. I mean, he could have signed for 1 year and $3 million, about 10 different spots. I know the Leafs were among the teams that had talked to him and were trying to pitch him on the idea of, hey, you can play alongside Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner on our team. Ultimately, Skinner chose Edmonton. That is one of those deals where it's just like, man, we're a destination now, baby. The Oilers are a destination. And I feel like I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with anything. I don't know how to react. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel. Gone are the days where we signed Ben Eater, Darcy Hordichuk, and Eric Belanger and went, man, that's a pretty good free agent today, eh? Fucking Steve Tambellini got the job done, boy. Add some toughness. Eric Belanger wanted the extra year because he believed in what was going on here. Come on. Come on. None of it makes sense. It's all new to me. It's all new to me in my Oilers fandom. Again, think about it. Adam Henrique, Victor Arvidsson, Jeff Skinner, all signed, the three of them, for less than $10 million a year. There was a time in my Oilers fandom life where that trio probably would have cost $20 million. I don't think I'm exaggerating. I don't think I'm exaggerating at all. Am I lying? Are you older than, young Nate who listens to this podcast? Are you older than him? Because if you are, you remember. Guarantee you remember. Guaranteed. Again, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with anything. What I do know is that the Oilers released their schedule for the upcoming season, and it kind of, it kind of had me wondering what we're going to do for travel. Listen, there's a Friday night game on the road in Utah. I'm thinking maybe a nation vacation to Utah. Would you be excited about a trip to Utah? I've never been, but I like shiny new toys. And Utah on November 29th, that's a Friday, they're the shiny new toy. Going down to see the Oilers Coyotes last year on the Family Day weekend at Mullet Arena was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. Will that translate to Utah? As long as we don't get tickets in an arena where you can't see the ice because it's made for basketball? I know they're fixing it, but this year, how many people are going to buy tickets to Utah and be like, oh man, this seat was only $15 or whatever, and then you can't see anything. You're like, bah. Looking at the schedule, there's not a whole lot of great days for travel. Like Nashville's on a Thursday. They also have Nashville, 2 Thursdays in Nashville. At Vegas is on a Tuesday. Why, man? At Chicago on a Saturday, little trip to the Windy City, maybe. I'd love to do it. I'd love to do it. Tuesday, April 1st at Vegas. That's right before the playoffs, though. Looking through some of the other away games, I don't know where else we would go. I would love to go to Chicago, though, to be honest. There's that Saturday in Chicago. Do they play? No, they don't play Friday or Sunday. That'd be a one and done. There's a weekend in Seattle. Would we go back to Seattle? I'd like to. That arena was great. Jeff Bezos did a great job. I know he just paid for the naming rights. Either way, the schedule kicks off on October 9th against the Winnipeg Jets. The Oilers start off the season with a 4-game homestand. Looking good. Looking real good. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Let me see. 6 of their first 8 games are at home. Then they get a little stretch on the road of 4 games, back for 2, then away. Kind of a mixed bag. The Oilers season ends on my birthday, though, at San Jose on April 3rd. That will be a game where no one plays because the Oilers will be tuning up for the playoffs. Bet on it. We'll talk about some of that later. Talk about some of that later for our friends at Bet365, right? Of course. Again, I'm going back to the Oilers roster and what they got done. I'm just happy. I'm pumped. Like Jeff Jackson, the guy who said, I don't want to be the GM. I don't want to be the GM. Motherfucker, you sure you don't want to be the GM? Doing a pretty good job. Push the wrong button. Satan, what do you got to say?
Listen, Jeff Jackson could have his arm twisted and old Satan could get in his ear. You just tell me what you want to give up. Bad Milk already got your soul. That's why you still look like you're 20 years old despite the fact being 40. Almost 40 anyway, you motherfucker. Anyway, as it comes to Jeff Jackson, I'm pretty sure we can twist his arm. Satan just needs something to offer.
Looking at the roster right now, the Oilers have 2 Skinners, they have 2 Browns, and they have 3 Connors. Does the Skinners do Jeff and Stuart Skinner? Are they going to have S Skinner, J Skinner on their jerseys? Those are always weird when that happens. Remember when the Schultz era was happening? Nick and Justin? They had to put the initials on there. What about the Browns? I mean, Josh Brown's probably not going to play a whole lot, if I'm being honest. So Connor Brown's probably just going to be Brown, not C Brown. But whoops. I've got a feeling that we're talking about unicorn territory on some of these jerseys, don't you think? 3 Connors. Connor McDavid, Connor Brown, Connor Carrick. We're collecting all the Connor. Fantastic. Obviously, we know that Jeff Jackson had a fantastic start to free agency. There's still some work to do. The Oilers are currently $2.4-ish million over the cap. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and start saying this now. I'm going to go ahead and start saying this absolutely right now as something that needs to happen. I want the Oilers to cheat. I want somebody put on the LTIR until the playoffs and come back a la Mark Stone. I want the Oilers to cheat. LTIR someone, I want to cheat. That's the t-shirt. That's the shirt I want to wear. Right now, Evander Kane apparently has some hip issues. He's also got the sports hernia he was dealing with all playoff long. Is he a contender? Listen, hear me out. Evander Kane gets the sports hernia corrected, right? Takes time to heal. Christmas time, he goes, hip's still bothering me. Gets that sorted out too. Come playoff time, fresh Evander Kane, first time he's been healthy in probably 2 years, comes back, ready to go. 2022 playoff Kane back in the lineup, absolutely free. Let's fucking boogie. Right? You telling me that's a bad idea? You telling me you don't want to see us cheat a little bit? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's what they say. I don't know who came up with that phrase, but I like it. I'm adopting it. LTIR someone, I want to cheat. It's an amazing problem to have, given that the Oilers have signed so many good players that they're over the cap now. They're like, we got to figure it out. But you know what? Not today. John Shannon was on Oilers Now this past week, and he wanted to talk about Daryl Cates' role in recruitment. And it's something that nobody would give credit for, but I'm going to do it right now because I agree with what John Shannon said here. And I quote, "This is something that Daryl Cates has been trying to do for a long period of time, is having the best building, the best dressing room, the best accoutrement for a player in and around the club. Make sure that there's club services person looking after everything, and now word has spread, and I think it's a big part of it. All you have to do is look down the highway to the issues that are going on in Calgary before the building even gets finished to know that the Oilers have a huge edge in trying to recruit players." Of course, if you're going to compare Rogers Place to the Saddle Dome, they're both technically arenas, but it's kind of like comparing a Ferrari to a 1983 Ford Tempo. Both of them are cars, admittedly, but they are not equal. They are not equal, right? I think Daryl Cates needs a little bit of credit for what he's building downtown. And yes, people don't like to give the billionaire owner credit, but I'm going to do it right now because I think he's spending a lot of money on the things in and around the Oilers' payroll that go a long way. Details matter, man. Details matter. Also got another quote here. This one's from Jeff Jackson on Vander Kane's health. Again, LTIR someone, I want to cheat. I quote, he's going through an issue with his hip. We're going through the process to see what will occur, and he is getting the best care and advice from our doctors. We will discuss options with him and his agent. We will get second opinions. That is where we are at, and nothing is planned, be it surgery or rehab at this point. That is from Jeff Jackson. LTIR someone, I want to cheat. I want to cheat. Speaking of cheaters, he's not really a cheater. I'm just upset with him. Vinny Desharnais signs the 2-year deal worth $2 million in Vancouver. Do I have to hate him now? I don't want to, but I think I have to. He could have signed with almost anyone else, and I would have cheered for him. But he signs in Vancouver, and I don't think I care. I don't think I care for him very much anymore. I don't think that I'm unreasonable either.
Listen, if there's one thing that Satan knows, it's holding a grudge. I've been holding a grudge with the man upstairs for 2 millennia now, over 2 millennia. And listen, you want to hate Vinny Desharnais? Let me spread that in you like a seed that grows into a fiery, burning hatred. Let me do it. Just give me the chance.
I think I kind of have to, don't I? I don't know if you guys have watched any of the player interviews from after they signed, but hearing Adam Henrique, Jeff Skinner, Connor Brown, Matthias Janmark all just talk about what it's going to be like to play in Edmonton, especially the guys that have been here. Adam Henrique talked about how amazing it was to play in front of Edmonton's fans during the playoffs. That's me. I was there. You were there. You watched. Even if you weren't there, I know you watched. I know you contributed to the atmosphere. You had a car flag on. I know it. I saw it. I'm excited. I'm excited to get going. We've got basically 93 days until game 1 of the NHL season starts. What am I going to do with myself for the next 3 months? I'm going to go to the Skinner's game. Skinner's game. Phew, I'd go watch that. I'm going to go to the Stingers game on Sunday. That's what I'm going to do. That's where we're going to wrap up the news. That's the voicemail button, dum-dum. I don't want to push that one. That's later in the show. Star Mechanical. They don't have expensive rates, and they focus on being as cost conscientious for their customers as they possibly can. Service and products are all installed by reliable, cost-effective, and efficient means. StarMechanical.ca. Let them help you keep your home running smoothly.
You're listening to Better Late Than Never with Bagged Milk, a purveyor of most excellent podcasts.
The big question presented by Oodle Noodle this week is, what is the best move that Jeff Jackson made in free agency, and what does he still have left to do? That's what I asked you about. You gave me a bunch of answers on Twitter that, of course, I'm going to read here in this segment for Oodle Noodle. But I'm also going to tell you that the Vegetarian Manchurian is here. It's delicious and is available for a limited time only. I had it last weekend for the first time. Blew my mouth feelings clear through the back of my skull. I needed a test to see if my senses were intact. I wasn't feeling well. I should have got torpedo shrimp though. 4 torpedo shrimp for $4. Should have got that. Nation HQ on Monday, by the way, we ordered so much Oodle Noodle, everybody was quiet for about 30 minutes while they scarfed that down. Make it a meal anytime for $6.99 in store. Includes 2 spring rolls or a green onion cake, and you also get a drink as well. Oodle Noodle's delicious. Again, the big question. The big question. What is the best move that Jeff Jackson made in free agency, and what does he still have left to do? Zachary Lang. He was in first. The best move is becoming interim GM, and he still has to make himself the full-time GM. My boy Captain Felton, he says, bringing back that third line. What is the name for that? Brown Mariko? Brown Mark. Obviously, we know Connor Brown, Matthias Janmark, but we've got to add Rico in there. Brown Mariko? Rico Brownmark. Ooh, Rico Brownmark sounds good. I'll think about it. It's a workshop. The Juice says not extending Ken Holland, and he still needs to get that Draisaitl extension done. Kyle the Embalmer says hasn't quite happened yet, but convincing Kane to go on LTIR for the year and being 100% for the playoffs. Again, LTIR someone, I want to cheat. Got it? Good. My boy Waz is chiming in. He goes, well, that depends. Jeff Jackson has yet to add the Jeff Jackson jambalaya to the menu. taken after old Bobby Nix. I'd love to know. There's no way any other team executive in the NHL is like, you know what? I'm going to put my stupid face on a burger. It's like, there's no way, right? Jeff Jackson Jambalaya, though. I love it. Brian says his best move was the order Connor Brown, Janmark, both back, and then circled back and got Henrique done with, hey, we signed 2/3 of the best third line in the Stanley Cup final. How could Henrique refuse? He still needs a new goalie coach, a defensive coach, a GM, and get under the cap by finding unscrupulous Alberta Doc. What does that mean? Oodle Noodle just says he out here cooking. They are. Orange and blue in my veins. That's Gary. Says, finally getting Leon a winger who can score, but they do need to add one more shutdown defenseman. Not only did he get one winger for Leon, he got two. Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson. That is a lot of goals on Leon's wings that just were not there before. Syrup says, based on Skinner's media availability, showing interest in him and staying consistently interested. I don't know if Skinner comes here if we were back and forth on the fence about him. Zach Holman says, fun fact, Kane goes on the LTIR. That gives them enough room to still sign Holloway and Broberg to $1 million each and still have 1.6 left of LTIR space to use. So they should be able to trade for a D-man worth $6 million if CC is in the deal. Mike says, best move, bringing back Brown that started the waterfall of players returning. Good vibes all day long. What's left? Avoid Stan Bowman like the plague. Bad PR, bad juju, bad idea. Christopher Palmer says, best move is still to come. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Is it a handsome German move? What a name. Says the third line. When they signed Perry and Jeff Skinner, I was so sure that Henrique wouldn't be back. So I guess my answer is the Henrique third line, Brown Mark, and Henrique. That was a mouthful of a sentence. Loving the short-term test run deals, so we're not stuck. I agree. Again, Skinner, a 1-year deal. Rico, 2 years. Arvidsson, 2 years. That is what winning teams do, is they make you sign short-term deals and not get stuck into the long term. You know what I mean? Derek says, might not be the most impactful, but I think the most impressive move is getting Adam Henrique back. It also, you know what? Getting Adam Henrique back makes trading that first-round pick to get him feel like a whole lot less of a cost because you got to keep him. It's like trading a first for 2.5 years of Adam Henrique, almost in a way. Kind of, right? Daryl says, with 98% of the forward group in place, what will the Oilers need to do on the back end to ensure they're not running it back with CeCe and Nurse? Brandon says, best move is not overpaying on any of the players and or giving lower term contracts so they don't handcuff you with 7 or 8 year deals. 100%. Ryan Scott says, bringing back the third line, they really clicked in the playoffs, and what's left to do, I don't know. Maybe done for now, see what happens before the trade deadline. Andy says, best move is bringing back key pieces from the run and then adding value pieces to push us over the edge and bring it home. FIFA Las Vegas says, all the July 1 moves and signings, the GM move. Stay away from Bowman. It's not worth any of the cues for the Oilers if that happens. Dangerous Wade says, best move is going with the t-shirt and blazer combo. That is pure sex. Just One Guy says, Jeff Skinner. Leon has never had a line mate other than 97 with his scoring touch. He's going to be motivated and should be a lock for 30 goals. I talked about this on the emergency episode. Jeff Skinner's career blows my mind. That guy has played over 1,000 games in the NHL. Not one in the playoffs. That's bananas to me. You know he's going to be hungry. Daniel says best move is signing Arvidsson. He still needs to find a cheap replacement for CeCe. Chris Curtola says best move is not hiring a GM. All of it. To be honest, it's Henrique. Guys like Baby Nuge will be defensive and score, gives us balance, making almost $6 million last year, basically 15% or 50% off. But if Skinner scores 40 and Arvidsson is Hyman 2.0, those are deals probably too. Daryl says getting Adam Henrique back. A lot of love for Adam Henrique here on the big question for Oodle Noodle. Best future move he can do, this one's from Kev, is to stay clear of Stan Bowman. The best move so far is not hiring Bowman. This one comes in from CC Dry. What he has left to do is still not hire Bowman. Nick says, best move, Jeff Skinner. What's left to do? Do not hire Scott Bowman. Well, you could hire Scotty Bowman, not Stan Bowman. Mainline in the coffee says, sign Draisaitl 2 weeks extension. Give him 14 years by 8. Don't need a Stamkos situation. Then and only then can he hire Keith Gretzky as the GM. Hockey Vice says not signing DeBrusk to a 5.5 by 7. Taking a little shot at the Canucks there. That is like, the money isn't surprising to me on Jake DeBrusk. He's a hell of a player. Oilers were obviously tied to him in free agency, and I thought, hey, you know what? That might be a good fit. I mean, went a completely different way with Skinner and Arvidsson. I'm super pumped on it, but I thought it might have been a fit. But at 5.5 by 7, that's a very long deal. The Oilers didn't do anything close to that, Nothing close to that. I think that's pretty impressive. And that, honestly, it has me excited, to be honest. Edmonton, a destination. It's happening, people. It is happening.
Thank you for listening to Better Late Than Never, where we had bag milk, Captain Felton and his massive hammer, Dukes who is a dum-dum twat, Nick with the K, having a temper tantrum, and Donkey Volley, who legally is still out around school zones. Thank you for listening to Better Late Than Never.
And it's done. I was pulling up my bets here because I want to talk a little betting. Bets of the week brought to you by my friends at Bet365, proud partner of Better Late Than Never. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. The futures are out. The updated futures that I talked about last week are out. And after free agency, they're fun. They are fun. First, I'm going to start off with winning the Pacific Division. Do you have a guess in your mind of who might be leading or who might be the favorites on the odds to win the Pacific? Could be anybody. There's a handful of choices. Is there, though? At plus 160, the Oilers are currently favored to win the Pacific Division in 2024-25. They are followed by the Vancouver Canucks at plus 240, the Golden Knights at plus 275, and the LA Kings at plus 550. Those are essentially the four that make the most sense, at least in terms of the betting, where the bettors are putting their money right now. Again, the Oilers are favored to win the Pacific Division at plus 160. Given what they did, I'm very incredibly biased. I will admit that. Everybody knows it. If you're listening to this podcast or know at all anything about me over the last 16 years working at Oilers Nation, you know I'm biased. You know I loves me, my Oilers. But plus 160 feels like free money, doesn't it? It's more than a double up. You bet $1, you get $1.60 back? Come on. Canucks next up at plus 240. Golden Knights at plus 275. I think those are probably going to be pretty close. Who flip-flops second and third place? Going down further, though, if you really want to chase, the Kraken are plus 1,600, the Flames are plus 1,800, and the Ducks plus 12,500, the Sharks plus 20,000. Both those teams are probably going to be awful. I actually don't like what the Kings did in free agency either. Like, no offense to Warren Fogle. I'm a big Warren Fogle guy. I think he's incredibly handsome, especially when he puts his glasses on, but I don't know. Moving forward, after free agency now, mind you, the first days of free agency, to win the Stanley Cup, the Oilers are favored at plus 800. Next up, the New Jersey Devils, which is surprising. They weren't a playoff team last year, but bettors believe in them. Plus 900. They're second up as runners up to be favorites for the Stanley Cup. The Panthers are plus 1,000 to repeat. The Stars are plus 1,000. The Avalanche are plus 1,100. The Hurricanes are also plus 1,100. The New York Rangers plus 1,300. Canucks plus 1,400, as are the Toronto Maple Leafs. Golden Knights plus 1,600. Preds plus 1,700, and the Lightning plus 1,800. I'm actually surprised the Predators weren't a little bit higher in terms of where they rank as far as favorites to win the Stanley Cup. They spent a lot of money in free agency, including getting Steve Stamkos. That's going to be weird, by the way, watching him play in a Predators jersey. It's going to be even better, though, watching Leon own him a couple of times every single season. Oh! Can't believe the Lightning just... Weird. It's one of those ones where, like, when Mike Modano signed in Detroit, now, mind you, he didn't sign a deal like Stamkos did, but interesting to me. Hart Trophy, this one also feels like free money a little bit. Connor McDavid, a runaway favorite to win the Hart Trophy at plus 175. That is followed by this year's winner, Nathan McKinnon. He is second up. Austin Matthews plus 850. He is, when did he win it? Last year? Or was it the year before? Must have been the year before because Connor scored 60 last year. So the year before, 2 years ago. Avalanche, no. Jack Hughes is plus 1,000. That's a sneaky good pick. Leon Draisaitl, in case you're wondering, is plus 2,000, as are David Pasternak and Nikita Kucherov. Again, Connor McDavid to win the Hart Trophy. I imagine he's going to be a little bit healthier. Hopefully he has some better luck with his shot and his core injury, his oblique, whatever the hell was going on with his tummy muscles. As I mentioned earlier, my tummy muscles have gained quite a bit of mass. Does not help me in my Hart Trophy odds. But Connor McDavid plus 175, I like it. I like that bet. Might sprinkle a couple of shekels on that one. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365.
Hey everyone, it's me, Bagged Milk, and you're listening to Better Late Than Never with Bagged Milk. Now go and buy a fucking car from Alfa Romeo of Edmonton. I'll find where you live and shit in your fucking little.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
For Trilogy Oilfield Rentals, it's time for the righteous sack beating. Of course, Trilogy Oilfield Rentals are an established provider of tools and expertise across multiple oilfield disciplines, specializing in rentals, pipe recovery, abandonments, and completions. Currently, they maintain full-time operating units in Provost, Weyburn, and Kindersley. What kind of tools do they have? It's time to push my yelly button.
Rental tools, fishing tools, coil tools, drilling tools, mills and bits, completion tools, any tool for any job. TrilogyRentals.ca.
TrilogyRentals.ca. We've got a guest RSB here. It just says RSB on the title. I don't know what it's about. We shall see. We'll learn together. First play for everybody. Let's go.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Oilers fans on not rioting and destroying the city.
That is true.
Second of all, I'd like to make this RSB out to all those Oilers fans that jumped on the bandwagon that after the successful season are already yelling, fire the coach, trade this, trade that player. We were the bottom of the league come November. And we made it to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final and only lost by 1. Yes, there's a few changes that are going to happen, but, this was a successful season.
Didn't I play that last week? I feel like I played that last week or one that was incredibly similar last week. I'm confused now, so I'm going to push this.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
And then I'm going to go ahead and start with my RSB because I think I played that, so I'm going to come up with something off the dome here. I don't like the fact that the Oilers are tied to Stan Bowman whatsoever. Not even close. So essentially what got tweeted the other day during a free agency day, kind of like a news dump by the NHL, the NHL announces that former Blackhawk executives Stan Bowman and Joel Quenneville and Al McIsaac have been reinstated, are now eligible to seek employment in the league again. They can be hired after July 10th. Frank Saravalli continues. He tweeted, he's speculating Bowman will become a top candidate for the Oilers GM vacancy. I believe he was on Edmonton's radar when Jeff Jackson was hired last summer, though was still ineligible. The team does say, or the NHL does say that they did some work. They did activities which not only demonstrate sincere remorse for what happened, but also evidence greater awareness of the responsibilities that the NHL personnel have, particularly personnel who are in positions of leadership. Moreover, each has made significant strides in personal improvement by participating in a myriad of programs, many of which were focused on imperative of responding in effective, meaningful ways to address alleged acts of abuse. Why are we doing this? Again, nothing's even happened, but why are we even considering this? This should be a full-on no. After the vibes we had on July 1st, and everybody, I haven't seen Oilers Twitter united like that in forever. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen Oilers Twitter united that way. But to go from those vibes to potentially worrying about a guy who covered up an assault, allegedly in my opinion, is not the move here. Think about it plainly. This is not who we need. There's got to be other candidates who are worthy of a job like this. You don't just go and pick somebody who won a Stanley Cup on the back of Dale Talon's team building as your executive. At least I don't think so. I don't even like that the Oilers are tied to this name. I don't want any situation where our star players are tied to this or asked about it. Doesn't make sense to me. And I think Tyler said this well yesterday on Oilers Nation Radio, if this was like a situation where they got reinstated and they had to work their way back up over the course of, a decade, fine. Maybe that's something that you can consider. But to be reinstated and then get one of the best jobs in the NHL, the best 2 players in the league on your roster just because you took 2 years off, to me, it doesn't work. And I just want to avoid the noise. Jeff Jackson, if you're listening to this, which I know you are, you're not. Please look somewhere else. Anywhere else. Keep the job yourself. Gord knows you've done a pretty good job of it so far. Maybe it's just me.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
There you go. Right to sack beating for our friends at Trilogy Oilfield Rentals. That means there's only one thing left to do. Only one thing left in this podcast, and that's hear from you. It's time for the voicemail. Voicemail is brought to you by the Oilers Nation Open, 7th annual Oilers Nation Open. It's one of my favorite days on the calendar. August 30th, we are out at the Millwoods Golf Club. We are going to be golfing in support of Gregor's Grads. A great day out on the links. Doing it all for charity. And August 30th, in case you're wondering, you go bag milk. That sounds like it's close to the September long weekend. That is the Friday leading into the long weekend. Why not take an extra day off, get yourself an extended long weekend? The Oilers Nation Open. I'll be there. Will you? Submit your team at nationgear.ca. Let's kick off the voicemail.
So I just finished listening to last week's episode.
Go ahead.
And I didn't realize how down and out I actually sounded. I mean, I was sad, but
yeah.
Shit. Anyways, yeah. I mean, I think it's fine that a lot of us felt pretty sad, but
more than fine.
It is what it is. Time to have a nice summer of golfing. I love golfing. I'm going to go in a couple tournaments and stuff.
Good for you, Nate.
Time to focus on that and not have to be stressed every second night with a hockey game.
That's what I was saying earlier. My body started to shut down on me. Starting to feel better now, though. Starting to get back to 100%. Nate, go golfing. We were all down last week. Don't feel bad about it. Happens. Happens when we love our team. They get so fucking close. Blowfish, what do you guys say?
Good day, BM. It's Blowfish again. After the
good day, Blowfish.
After Monday, and after your podcast, which I wanted to leave something earlier for that podcast, but I had to start on life, which I had been holding off for an extra month.
I think a lot of us
missed the whole month of summer. Crying out loud, it feels like.
It is weird that we all missed a month of summer, essentially. We're used to the Oilers being out in May for a long time, long before that. We did miss a whole month of summer. Again, I'll do it again next year.
But yeah, the boys put in a hell of an effort. But the one thing I got to say, I am the most proud of the fan base. I got into the Oilers in 2012 after being, we'll call it a bandwagon jumper for the Vancouver run in 2011.
Oh.
And then I decided I couldn't have anything to do with those people ever.
Good for you.
So I went out looking for a hardcore team to support, and it was the Oilers. And I am so glad I did that.
Yeah, me too.
Because this fan base went through a hell of a ride.
Could you imagine being a fan of the Vancouver Canucks, unironically? Good Lord.
With bitter disappointment at the end, and handled it with the utmost class.
Not one piece of property damage. There was a couple of people arrested for being drunk shitheads, but you put 40,000 people downtown, that's bound to happen, right? Proud of you too, Edmonton. Not just Blowfish, me. You did it. And by did it, I mean did nothing. Good for you.
super proud of this fan base. I hope we get there again.
We will.
It's
I believe.
awesome. I am proud to count myself among you. But yeah, we'll see next year. Hope the RFAs, UFAs are all good. Let's get that sorted. Go Oil.
And they did. They did, Blowfish. They did. Anonymous message. What say you?
You're listening to Better Late Than Never.
Ah.
Yes.
The donkey.
Dirty people.
You are dirty people, aren't you? Aren't you, Waz? I know you are.
Bad Milk.
Yes.
You won't believe this, but like, bro, I just went to Winners and shit is cheap. Man,
Waz, please don't make me believe this was the first time you've ever been to Winners. Please. I can't. There's no way. There's no way.
Is this guy a fucking parody of a human being, or what's going on with that guy? He's never been to Winners. Fuck, Satan's been to Winners. I always go buy everything there. I buy a nice golf shirt, maybe a nice cardigan. I buy myself a handbag. Everything's discounted prices. Sometimes I look for things that are intentionally altered so I can get it even cheaper. That's how Satan rolls.
I got some Adidas pants for like $50.
He even pronounces it the European way, Adidas. And I know that's probably how you pronounce it. I'm reading a book about Adi Dassler and his brother Rudolph Dassler and how they hated each other. It's called Shoe Wars, about Adidas and Puma. They hate each other, the Dassler brothers. They used to live together, and then it all went sideways. Back to you, Waz.
$50. It would typically be like maybe 170 or 90 going to like a Sport Check. I haven't shopped in Winners in a couple of years, so maybe that's why I'm a little surprised. I walk in there, I'm like, oh
At least it's not the first time he's ever been there.
my God. This is a fair deal. I feel like I'm getting good value for whatever. I also bought a nice little jacket for like $35. I think it's like the brand is Spider. My God, Winners. I know this is not a sponsored post or anything, but shit is good. Good quality stuff in there for a good value. I love it.
You know what, Waz? I think like maybe I'll do a summer bit where I send Waz out on like out with $100 or something like that. Does anybody want to sponsor that? I send Waz out into the streets with $100 and see what he comes back with. I'll send him on like challenges. Like, Waz, I want you to get us food, the two of us, for $100. I want to see what I want. Like, I want an appetizer, I want a main, I want a dessert, and something to drink. What can you do for the two of us, Waz? Hell, even less than $100, $20. What can Waz do with $20? Well, I'd listen to that content. Blowfish, what do you guys say?
Hey, BM, it's me again. So, yeah, just gushed about the fan base. Every word of that is true.
Go ahead.
We have some admin to do, though.
Please.
I owe you a shirt, and I got to get my butt down to Edmonton at some point to give it to you.
What do you owe me a shirt for? I don't remember. My brain was a little bit foggy for 63 days. I have no reason why, but you know why.
And I'd like to do it at some kind of event. So I'm going to be listening, ONR, and obviously Better Late Than Never.
Next event on the calendar is the Oilers Nation Open coming up on August 30th. That is our next event, Blowfish. If you don't have a team of 4, you can sign up as a single. We put you in the Mosaic groups, which arguably are the most fun groups. We've had Mosaic groups come together over the years, and those guys just hang out and they do it as a team the next year because they have so much fun. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah, what sporting events are we doing? I'll bring down the family at some point, and I'd like to do it in person. And also, I got to order something new. So yeah, we'll see what's going on in probably August is when I'll be able to make it down because here in Cold Lake, we're pretty busy getting ready for an air show. But yeah, I'll be in touch over socials, whatever, at some point, and we'll get it sorted. I owe you this shirt. Got to come down. Got to enjoy some other sporting events from Edmonton when I can get down.
I'm going to the Stingers game on Sunday.
Go Oil.
Go Oil indeed. Or sign up for the Oilers Nation Open, August 30th, nationgear.ca. Blowfish, I don't remember why you said you owe me a shirt, but I will happily accept said shirt. Waz?
Honestly, Bag Milk, I think I gotta change my name to like Waz-Adamus, because anything that I predict, the opposite seems to happen. And you know how I feel about that. Well, so, maybe if I predicted Florida to win,
It's the Waz jinx is what it is. Anything Waz thinks is going to happen, the opposite happens. So he can call himself Wazadamus all he wants, but it is the Waz jinx. Everybody knows. The real ones know Waz.
We'd be having a parade right now, bigger than Florida's, that's for sure. And, you know,
By the way, Florida's parade, like saying people did not go to the parade was arguably one of the funniest jokes on Twitter that whole day. My mentions were filled with Panthers fans for days talking about how there was people at the parade. It might be my new Winnipeg doesn't have an airport joke that I'll just carry on forever. Nobody showed up to the Florida Panthers parade. Not one person. And then they'll show me a picture of everybody who was there. Like, look at all the people that were there. And I replied was, sad you guys had to hire crisis actors to go fill seats at the parade. Fuck, did I laugh. Great joke for Panthers fans.
Let me make a prediction. Starts with a K. You know, I wanted to. I was going to write something down. And I got told to fuck off, basically. No.
Kennedy and Waz have got a battle that is almost overtaking the Liam Waz battle. Essentially what's happening is Waz picking fights with everybody at Nation HQ.
So now we're here. I've been told to move on, get over it. Not sure if I will. Might take a while, but we'll see what happens next. Like, I can't believe I tweeted out, you know, I'm sensing the Oilers will not have a first round selection. I was bullshitting, of course, and then they get a first round pick. So go Sam O'Reilly, great kid.
The Waz jinx. Beware the Waz jinx, Edmonton and surrounding areas or wherever he's off to. Waz is going on vacation at some point this weekend for 4 days. He's going to take off. So if you see him out in the wild, beware the Waz jinx. Beware the Waz jinx. Right, anonymous caller?
Yo, BM. I think I mentioned it on here before.
Hello,
when
Nick.
I'm at university, you know, doing my neuroscience, I work at a golf course over the summer. Not the best paying job out there, but it's certainly a pretty good job for when you're in university and you like to golf. And
listen, don't job shame yourself. That drives me crazy when people job shame anyone, actually. I think that as like a group of people, as a society, everybody's job is important in its own way. So, Nick, if you work at a golf course, don't gotta shame it, buddy. That's a fine job to have for an off season while you're not in school. No problems there.
You know, like I go cut grass, dig holes, talk to women, which is something Ari doesn't do, by the way.
See, I'm going to ignore the last jab at Ari, although I do appreciate it. I've fantasized about a job where I just got to cut grass all day. I'd be lying if I didn't. As long as I get to sit on a riding mower or one of those ones, you see those ones where you like stand on the back and it cruises. I could be on one of those for a while. I love cutting grass. I really do.
Got no game, that guy. Got no game. But over like the last week or two, we've been finding an astounding number of dead birds around the course.
Uh-oh.
Like whole nests of birds that are just dead.
Uh-oh.
You'll be like, I'll be on the mower and I'll just obliterate one I didn't even see. There'll be like a dead bird in a sand trap or something. You know, there's just a lot of dead birds. So my question is, are you secretly in Lethbridge and are taking out your frustrations with the Oilers by murdering the local avian population? Because if you are, you can just come out and say hi. You don't have to murder birds, man.
It's a worthy question.
Like, I know you're missing a toe for some reason.
His dog bit it off. His dog bit it off. I'm not even joking. I'm not telling a joke. His dog bit his toe off.
But you don't have to take out your frustration on your missing toe on the birds. Birds didn't do anything. Peace.
Birds aren't real. Birds aren't real, Nick. What do you gotta say about that? Again, picking Waz as the likely suspect for why all those birds are dead in Lethbridge, it makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Anonymous caller, who be you?
Free agency voicemails. I might make a second one.
All right, Ari. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Discuss free agency. I will allow it. Although Nick says you have no game. Feel free to respond to that next week.
Victor
Whoa. Turning some knobs now. The audio department told me how to fix that. I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to try again. Go ahead.
Free agency voicemails. I might make a second one. Victor Arvidsson, Jeff Skinner, and forward. Love it.
Love it.
Like Love it. I can't wait to see how the top 6 plays.
I can't wait to see how they get put together. They have so many options now of who can play with who. I can't wait to see the line combos. I'm going to be arguing about line combos for the next 90 days. Go ahead, Ari.
Assuming they trade Kane. But yeah. The defense. I mean, the jury is still out on how it'll play overall, but, I'm liking the ads. The Josh Brown deal, not so much, but,
I don't get that
you
one.
can bury that one at least.
Yep, can.
Solid work by Jeff Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Really solid work. It's a new feeling to have this, like, kind of, free agency spending spree by the Oilers.
I said it earlier. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm so excited because I'm old enough to remember, Ari. I'll say it again. Second time this podcast. When I thought a big free agency day was signing Bet Eager, Darcy Hordichuk, and Eric Belanger. That was a huge, huge free agency day once upon a time for this franchise.
Second free agency voicemail. And I hate to say it, but I want to say it anyway. In take away the Hyman signing, and Jeff Jackson in 12 hours has done more to improve the team in free agency than Ken Holland has ever done in 5 years.
I don't think that's even a bad
That's
take.
sad. I mean, that's just how bad of a GM Ken Holland is. So this is what being proactive means, and this is what being in a win now mode is.
I don't even think that's a hot take, actually. Free agency always used to make me so nervous because I remember, like I said, the Belangers and Eagers, and I remember Lucic to the huge contract, and I remember admittedly being nervous about signing Zach Hyman to a 7-year deal, given that his career high had been 41 points to that point. I was wrong. I was so spectacularly wrong. I own that one, though. I will own it forever. I will own it forever and proudly be wrong. I love being wrong about Zach Hyman. I love him. I love him.
All right, listen, Bag Milk.
All right.
I got beef.
Okay.
I got some real beef today. Got some
Dukes is here. He's got beef. He sounds like he's yelling into a microphone from across a room, but we will allow it because I do love my Dukes.
Genuine Australian Wagyu beef, because we all know that Australian beef is superior to Alberta beef. Anyway.
Nope, I'm cutting you off. I will not accept any slander at Alberta Beef Dukes. You are banned from the podcast. All right, I'll allow it.
Need to spend any time on that because you all agree. Man, I just want to, I'm so mad at this thing. I want to fight it with all my strength, but it's not possible. And that thing is my subconscious. Right?
Go ahead.
The amount of fucking times over the last 6-ish whatever months, I've had a dream that I'm hanging out in Edmonton and doing normal shit. I don't know, throw Maltese as it was while he's trying to watch Powerpuff Girls.
You really throw Maltesers as it was? Again, that could fit into my game of going to send Waz out in the streets with $20, see what kind of snacks he brings back, and then we all throw them at him. Could be an adjustment to the game.
Whatever. And then I wake up and I'm all happy, and then I realize that I'm not in Canada. What the fuck? The other day, right, I had a dream. It got pretty hot and heavy pretty quickly, right? I know, I'm sure I'm not the only one here. Most of us obviously dream about Liam Horriban fairly regularly.
Yes. Satan?
Listen, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm glad it came up organically. I've been dreaming about Liam Horriban since the first time I saw that beautiful, beautiful mustache of his. At first, we didn't really know what he was trying to grow, if he was just trying to be a little bit silly for November, but once it stuck, all of a sudden Satan is just dripping every time Liam is on air. Every time he says a word with that accent, he sounds so smart, you know? Satan's a sucker for an accent, he's a sucker for a mustache, so... Dukes, you are speaking my language.
And I'll admit it, we came together, right? We came together... Consider it passion, whatever. But for whatever reason, as I assume you all do, we're out riding snowmobiles and we had a head-on collision and were sent to hospital. Pretty serious. And I genuinely woke up disappointed that dream wasn't real. So anyway, fuck you, subconscious. Get better.
Listen, I'm confused by the dream. At first, it sounded like Dukes and Liam hooked up.
Which I'm all for, as I mentioned, just that mustache and the accent. I loved the way he taught you all to say Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Everything's a shire in England and I love it. Even the Yorkshire puddings are delicious. Oh, Dukes, you know how to get Satan going.
This next message is from Felton's Hammer. So I imagine it's going to be a large, meaty message. Hi-yo!
I just want to acknowledge all the people, you know, not Nick.
By the way, I was still confused about your dream. Were you hooking up with Liam, or were you in a snowmobile accident, or were you hooking up with Liam while there was a snowmobile accident? Is that why you were distracted driving and couldn't pay attention enough until you and your, English lover, in this case Liam, were in that head-on collision? I've got so many questions.
He's not a real person. He's just a literal piece of feces. Everyone who, and it's only a small amount of people, and they're not really worth mentioning, but it's just to segue into another point, so bear with me.
Go ahead.
All the people, you're not a real fan, you live in fucking Australia where the dirt's literally orange, and yeah, I do. I live in the tropics, you dumb cunt. 1,000 kilometres from ice. Like, I probably shouldn't like hockey, but I do, so deal with it. Anyway.
Anybody who says you're not a real fan because you live in a warm climate is just ridiculous. Like, what is with this gatekeeping of sports? I don't get it.
Just tap off my beer can.
Listen, Dukes is one of the most dedicated Oilers fans I've ever met in my life. The guy flew across the world to watch games in February. How much more committed can you be?
Not actually in a knife fighting academy. I just want to say that I don't know about many other Oiler fans except for Jack McCarthy, Charlotte, and Brandon Krause, and myself. Every single time we have attended at least one home game in the regular season, the Edmonton Oilers have made Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. How many other fucking of you feel, you're not real fans? Man, maybe you're not real fans. Maybe the real fans, well, the real fans are always the friends we met along the way, but maybe the real fans aren't the ones who just, it's convenient to support the team because you live nearby. You don't put in the fucking effort we do, motherfucker.
Amen.
You should be, you should just be happy my talents aren't wasted on Canucks Army, whatever fucking Quads does on his stupid podcast.
Hey!
Play the bummer, baby.
Why you gotta take shots at Big Dave? Big Dave doesn't deserve it. Big Dave's an oil man. If you ask anybody, Big Dave will tell you he's an oil man. Oil man!
Bag Milk, I got a question for you.
Go ahead, buddy.
What happens with Derek Ryan next season?
I don't think you want my honest answer to this, Waz.
Is there a spot for him on this roster? Because
Waz, I don't think you really want me to answer this question. I don't want to hurt your feelings, man.
he got healthy scratched a few times last year, and I'm starting to wonder, is Bakersfield calling his name? Is he going to turn to Sam Gagner 2.0, where he's more of a mentor? I tried asking Tyler. I texted him, but he kind of ghosted me. Kind of used to that from Tyler, won't lie. He ghosted me a lot. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, Tyler ghosted me too. There's a whole part of the intro about Tyler ghosting me. Of course, we've had many dates planned over the years that he's just bailed on me, so I stopped asking. But to answer your question about Derek Ryan, I've got a feeling he may get waived before training camp to be cap compliant. The Oilers need money, Waz. They need money. The final voicemail of... What's the sponsor again? Oh, yeah. The Oilers Nation Open voicemail.
Oh, my God. Jeff Jackson is good at his job. Oh, my goodness. Jeff Skinner's a fucking Oiler. And we got Rico back. And we got Arvidsson. Oh, my God.
And let's not forget that Silver Fox is just a very handsome piece of meat, isn't he? Oh, Dangerous Wade talked about his t-shirt and Blazers combos, and it gets Satan going, I gotta tell you. There's something about a salt and pepper fellow with all kinds of power that just really does it from a big red nipples. Oh, Jeff Jackson.
That is gross and inappropriate, Satan. I'm putting you back. I'm turning your microphone off.
Don't
do it. Yeah, you're pushing the wrong buttons. You fucked up.
You fucked up.
You fucked up.
You fucked up.
All right. That's going to wrap up the voicemail. Oilers Nation Open, available at nationgear.ca. Submit your team. It's going to sell out. Promise you. I feel phlegmy. I'm recovering from my sickness. Feel good, though. The Oilers Nation Open, 7th annual, raising money in support of Gregor's grads. Go to nationgear.ca, submit your team. It is going to sell out. It sells out every year. The last 6 have sold out. This one is going to too. Get your team in now. Get your team in now, nationgear.ca. That's where we're going to wrap up the podcast, everybody. Thank you for being here. Hopefully some more news happens. I'd love to do another emergency podcast. It seems like, given the fact that the Oilers are a little bit over the cap, I got to be on standby at all times. 24/7 on standby. Let's get it. Ready? Of course you are. Of course you are. Come on, man. Come on, man. Whoops. I'm on the wrong page. I want to play a song. Really fucked that up, didn't I? Really fucked that up. Don't even know where anything is in my own button bar anymore. Goodness gracious.
Oh, Captain Felton with your charm. In your uniform, you're looking so fine and so true. Through the high seas and beyond. I'd follow the stars just to be where you are. Oh, I would sail the 7 seas for love. With you, my captain, under skies above.